Please take your folder. Nothing better than English in the morning.
James Benamor is no ordinary classroom assistant.
Go on then, lads, English.
As if that's going to hurry us.
He's actually a hugely successful businessman worth an impressive £77 million.
There isn't a company out there that we compete with that I don't want to see smashed into the ground.
This tough entrepreneur has agreed to go undercover in an area with a reputation for knife and gun crime.
Do you mind talking to me?
No, please, I'm wanted. I'm wanted by the fire. Go on.
Never seen this guy around here in my life. Looks like Fred.
He'll spend 10 days living in Moss Side to see if he can find someone worthy of his money.
Tell you what, I'm not going to give money to people who don't fucking deserve it.
But coming face to face with the hidden victims of violent crime will stop him in his tracks.
My life's never been quite the same since Justin's died.
I don't know how you cope.
And force this hard-nosed millionaire to change the way he thinks for good.
I've always wanted to be the best at whatever I do, but this experience has softened that. I realised that you can be the best at making a difference in one person's life.
At the end of his stay, he will give away tens of thousands of pounds of his own money.
You're not earning lots of money because I've seen your car.
And reveal he is a secret millionaire.
I didn't expect to get emotionally involved in what I saw. It's been surprising.
James Benamor started his first business at the age of 21. Now, at 30 years old, he's worth £77 million.
Competition is basically the reason that I still work. 2 or 3 years ago, I could have walked away with enough money to have me sitting on a beach for the rest of my life. The reason I'm still here is because I want to be the best.
He made his fortune by setting up his own finance company, offering loans to people who've been refused credit by the high street banks.
Forget other companies do it this way, forget we've always done it this way. We're going to go back to basics with this and look at it from the customer's point of view. Most value for the customer. When you want to be the best, there's no way around it. You have to take charge sometimes. We're showing some sort of rise there, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
There isn't a company out there that we compete with that I don't want to see smashed into the ground.
Good, relax your shoulders a little bit more.
Although he now has plenty of self-discipline and ambition, things were very different when James was a teenager.
I was taking a lot of drugs, became a petty criminal, really. I was a nightmare. I was a nightmare for my parents. I was a nightmare for anyone that knew me. There were several occasions where I could have ended up in prison. There were several occasions where I could have ended up in intensive care. But I managed to pull myself out of it. What turned me from a criminal into a member of society was believing that there was a place for me there. And I'd like to be able to open those doors for someone who was in the situation that I was in.
James wants to be the best at everything, even when it comes to being charitable.
It's funny, since we've been doing this, I've been looking at charity and charitable deeds done by other people in a competitive way. You know, almost slagging them off inside my head, going, I can beat you. Look at you, what are you doing? You're helping cats. Fucking cats. Who cares about cats?
When he's not fighting to be at the top of his game, James enjoys being at home, doting on his 4 young children with his partner Tina.
The door here.
What needs to do next?
In a circle. I think it's really important for my kids to be kids whilst they're young. It's not fair when kids have to grow up too quickly and be expected to act like adults. At the end of the day, you've got 60, 70 years to be an adult, you know?
James is used to being the king of his domain, but all that's about to change.
I think his biggest challenge is the kind of social interaction with people that he doesn't know. I suppose if he treats it like a business, then he'll be fine probably, but I would have thought that would be his biggest sort of challenge.
Meeting people straight away, getting on with them straight away, learning about them. I'm going to have to adapt. It's going to be, you know, for some people that would just be day one stuff, it would be easy, but for me that's probably going to be quite hard. I spend my life trying to block out people's need. Everyone does. Okay, kids, I'm going. So will I be able to change myself so much that I'll turn from someone who walks around with their fingers in their ears going la 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 to someone who's actually open to find out what it is I could do to change people's lives? I don't know. See you soon, guys.
For the next 10 days, James will live a secret life. While he's away, he'll tell people he's being filmed as part of a documentary about voluntary youth workers. With very few volunteers driving a flashy sports car, James has swapped his for something a little less conspicuous. James is off to Manchester, the city with the highest number of teenage ASBOs in the country. Having gone off the rails in his own youth, this is an issue close to his heart.
Quite excited, really. It's getting a bit interesting, getting a bit more real.
During his time away, he'll meet and be introduced to people he may be able to help, and will be staying in Moss Side.
It's got one of those reputations, isn't it? Moss Side, for people being shot and generally people having trouble, which is good. It's good. I didn't want anything easy.
Hey yo, this virus syndicate, you get me? Show me the money, man. Show me the money, hey, man. Yo, listen up. Then watch me on the floor. Danger with the sign on the door. No, I'm not trying to talk. Stop fighting for what I just bought.
Moss Side is a neighbourhood struggling to shake off its image of violent crime and gang culture.
My life short. I win every time I fall. I'm about to lie down and die here for. I've not been lazy lately.
It's a real mix, isn't it? Got some nice houses right next to some fucking crack dens and shitholes. That fucking metal stuff, you know? That just makes you feel fucking shit, doesn't it? Having that opposite.
In 2007, there was an average of 7 gun-related incidents a day in Greater Manchester.
I've never had one of these on my front door before. It's not the nicest place I've stayed. To be honest, I don't want to spend too long in here. I want to get out there and meet people.
Undercover as an unpaid volunteer, James will be living on the equivalent of benefits.
For 10 days, £85, £86.20. That's job seekers allowance. £86, I'd spend that on lunch.
Tomorrow, James will start a pre-arranged job as a classroom assistant. But for the rest of today, he's keen to see if Moss Side lives up to its notorious reputation and wants to face his fear of meeting new people.
My biggest disadvantage is the side of me that hates asking for directions, the side of me that never introduces himself, you know? I'm not socially adept at making new friends. I'm going to have to overcome it because I'm not going to fail because of that. Excuse me, they're just, I'm just filming a documentary for Channel 4 about youth work in the area. I'm wondering would you mind talking to me about it? Okay, we're being filmed.
I don't really know much about youth work. The kids ain't got nothing to do no more, you get me?
Yeah.
It's hard for the kids now, they've got parks and that, but it's not really enough.
Do you think if I'm walking around like talking to kids, they're going to talk to me on camera? Do you think they'd mind that?
Nah, people are just going to be paranoid thinking what you're filming me for.
I'm doing some youth work in the area. These guys are filming like a documentary about me working with kids and that.
I'm wanted by the 5 I'm not lying to you. Yo, the world is too short to die, yeah? So don't record us, man.
I just really want to get to talking to them and sort of find out what's underneath their sort of front. But you can sort of start talking to one and then a load of them come over and suddenly it's all, you know, get that camera out my face, what are you doing? And it all just gets very tense very quickly.
No, don't bring the camera to me though. Kids die here at the age of 15 and don't put the camera on, please.
Talking to people around here, do you think people are like not going to want to talk to me about that?
Because no, it's like the way you come across.
The way you're
they're not sure what you're doing.
Nobody feels right to talk to you.
No one's going to be comfortable, yeah.
Because they don't know what you're talking about.
Normally in real life, I just walk on the other side of the street from people that look like that, you know? I've never been in a situation where I wanted to actually get into a conversation, you know, with someone who's trying to intimidate me or trying to threaten me.
What programme's this?
It's about volunteering. I'm new into the area, I'm looking to volunteer, like youth clubs, that kind of thing, man.
You know this guy?
Never in my life.
I've seen you around here before in my life. Put the camera on me. I'm 27. Never seen this guy around here in my life. You know him. You know him. Looks like Fed.
That's real. Why am I?
It's tight, man. Cheers. It's just little knockbacks, you know. That kiddie saying that I was well dodgy, that I was fed, that no one should talk to me. That's what I think's going to happen if I talk to people. And I was just getting into my stride, and then that did happen, you know. And I think, yeah, I am fucking dodgy. I've got a camera crew. How the fuck can't I be dodgy? So it's just putting me back in my shell even more, you know?
James Benamor is living undercover in Moss Side. He had a troubled youth himself and wants to access teenagers in similar situations, so has taken a voluntary job as a classroom assistant at the Manchester Settlement, a place for kids who don't fit into mainstream education.
Hi there, my name's James. I'm here to do some volunteer teaching assistant.
Oh, yeah. I'm Marie. Nice to meet you. I'm the manager here. Do you want to come in?
Thank you.
We work with young people that are not achieving in school and they're coming here for a short period of time, up to a year. And sometimes they go back into school, sometimes we move them on to college and sometimes into apprenticeships and work.
The charity's aim is to teach these kids maths and English, so they at least have a chance of getting some GCSEs.
And Netta. Just waiting for a few stragglers.
Go on then, lads, English.
As if that's going to hurry us.
James prides himself on his man management at work, but these teenagers might prove more difficult to motivate.
Please take your folder. Nothing better than English in the morning. You read it?
That bothered me. Can't be bothered.
What would make you want to be bothered?
Give me a 10 and I'll do it.
Do you want to do well on your GCSEs?
Not really bothered. I still get a job whether I've got GCSEs or not.
When you get a job, do you want to do well?
What?
When you get a job, do you want to do well?
No, we just want to get paid. Same as you if you got a job.
I don't know. I want to do well in my job. Get more money, innit?
You went through school, yeah, and done all your GCSEs. You're not earning lots of money because I've seen your car.
The point is, mate, once you're out of here, everything you do, every decision you make is going to make you money or lose you money. And how good your life is, how nice your car is, how nice your house is, how nice your wife
Put it
is
this
going
way,
to
I
depend
can
on
come
how
out
smart
here
you are.
being broke and all that, not even having a job, and I'll still have a better car than you.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
You reckon?
I reckon. When am I ever going to use formal or informal text again in my life?
You would actually. If you started a business, you would.
Then I'll come and get you and you can work for me. Since you're so good.
Do you reckon I'd work for you?
Yeah. I'd just offer you a Nissan Sunny, one better than that.
For many of the kids at the Manchester Settlement, this is their last chance to get an education. Growing up round here, their chances of getting 5 GCSEs or more are well below the national average.
With Aidan in there, he was just kind of, well, don't care whether I got it right or not. And then just sit there and go, I don't care. You know, he can come up with some really good arguments of why he doesn't care. And it shows that he's intelligent. So I spent about half an hour bloody arguing with Aidan and came off the worst for it. You know? I don't understand volunteering as a concept at the moment. It's never something that would have come into my head. I understand charity, I understand helping people, but just purely giving your time to a project, to something that someone else is organising, I don't know.
With his first shift at the settlement over, James wants to make the most of his time here and is hitting the streets again in the hope of finding new leads.
I'm new in the area. I'm just looking to get involved in like youth volunteering.
There's nothing for kids.
Nothing for young people to do,
There's
no?
nothing, no. We're just walking around at the moment just to try and knacker them out.
I wonder if you know of anything around here like that's there for kids or anything that I could get involved in.
Yeah, there's a project up on Broad Oak Road.
Okay, that's quite good for
Yeah,
the
just
young
off
kids.
Broad Oak Road at the roundabout.
I've been given a lead onto a place called Copperdale. Apparently it's a hostel for young lads who need somewhere to stay, so it's an angle I hadn't thought about before. My name's James. I'm working as a volunteer in the local area.
Oh, right. Come in and see what you think.
Yes. It's lovely weather.
Copperdale is run by retired husband and wife team Anne and Terry. They've opened up their family home to provide care and support for troubled lads.
A lot of the boys that come here, they're very damaged emotionally, and because of that, the behaviour is not always acceptable, one would say. But they're all boys that have had some sort of rejection in their life. Many of the boys here came with no great expectations, and some now run their own businesses and they've gone on to college. You've got people who've gone to university from here, and they've all come from the same premise that they were homeless.
What experience have you had in this sort of line? Any at all?
Myself, when I was a teenager, I got into quite a lot of trouble, so that's kind of how I ended up wanting to get into this kind of volunteering.
If you've had the experience, that is the very best thing.
So when could I get involved in some kind of work here?
Well,
could I help doing some cooking? Or,
oh yes, we never turn a cook down. No.
Terry and Anne seem like really warm, decent people. I'm looking forward to getting back there, helping out, meeting some of the boys, and seeing if there's anything there.
So far, James is treating this experience as another week at the office.
Emotion isn't coming into this at the moment. For me, this is still a business decision. This is outlay versus reward. It's a business decision, and that kind of makes it harder because most of these people are not business-minded. I really feel like I need to get deeper in and actually meet people in the community. So I'm going to go to the library and check out outreach volunteering.
James hopes that outreach volunteering will allow him to approach people who need help but may never seek it.
This is more like what I do in everyday life. I want to find out about things quickly. I'm reading the website for Mothers Against Violence. Looking at the website, it seems like they're doing good work. You've got kind of mentoring, publicity stuff that they're doing, community work. So it's certainly a valuable lead.
Intrigued by his research, James wants to find out more about Mothers Against Violence.
Hiya, how you doing?
Angela.
Come in.
Angela Lawrence is the project coordinator.
Yeah. So much volunteering things?
Only this week, so I'm kind of trying out different things this week. Yeah, I'm really interested to see if there's anything here that I could get involved with.
Sure, there will be.
All the women sitting around this table have lost someone to violence.
I think we're first going to find out whether there's anything anyone wants to share.
And have now come together to try and prevent more people dying.
Today I done a talk at Loretto, which is a local college around the corner, and I think I talked to around about 200 students. Wow. I talked around MAV, and I talked around, more importantly, the power that they actually have as young people to make a difference in their community.
A young girl and a friend who had an incident on the street, and they needed our help, so I've been working with her now for the last, I think it's 7 or 8 weeks now. And we've talked around different issues to do with anger, and she wants to know how she can deal with this and how she can move forward.
Angela was really nice. She's really welcoming. You can't really beat a welcome like that.
Please stay and get involved. And if you want to meet any of the mothers and talk to them personally and listen to their story, and that's some of the things that we do.
A little bit more convinced that these guys have got some kind of idea on how to get to the kids that we've been seeing. The ones who are sort of stood about in the corner and that, the ones that don't look like they've got any interest in the council projects or the youth clubs, Time's ticking on now. If I don't find out a bit more, if I don't manage to get much deeper with people than I have up till now, I can't see myself giving away anything. Tell you what, I'm not going to give money to people who don't fucking deserve it. The more we talk about this, I'm not just gonna jump in there and, oh, you do wonderful work, you deserve the money. Here's £1,000. Here's £10,000.
It's James's second day as a voluntary classroom assistant at the Manchester settlement.
Nah, so you're telling me, right, when people play in San Andreas, don't you think they're hard, think they can rule the estate?
No questions, statement, make your point. I don't want to hear you say, do you think this?
You've worked with Stephen and Aidan, you've seen him.
Yeah.
Bev has been a youth worker at the settlement for the last 6 years.
Kids like this, I mean, I got so much out of that yesterday. I just came home and I was just buzzing, I just felt like I sort of made a connection,
I think in the back of my mind it's probably the same. I had 2 brothers that were, just kicked out of school, and that was it. That was years ago, and they're out. Nowhere to go, they're just out, and mum and dad work full time, and they had nowhere to go. So I think in the back of my mind, that's why I did it. To try and help, you've got to try somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah. All drug dealers getting locked up.
Aidan has just discovered that 3 members of his extended family have been convicted of dealing drugs.
How long have your cousins got?
Christopher got 4 years, David got 4 years. Him, and Oliver was at the same address.
Yeah, I don't know that, I've read it.
What sort of drugs was it they were catching people for?
Heroin and crack cocaine.
Doesn't look too good, does it?
No.
Looking at what's going on here, it is a different situation than what I was in myself. I don't think necessarily just hard work or determination is going to get some of these kids out of it. They have to believe that there's something else that they're capable of, or there's something else that the world could have to offer. There's quite a lot of this stuff around. It's all graffiti, rest in peace, kids' names on it, gone but not forgotten. You don't get that round where I live. If I had kids around here, that would scare me.
Hi, is that Angela? Hi Angela, it's James. I was wondering if I could get a chance to meet up with any of the mothers from MAV to just get a bit of a better idea about your organisation.
James wants to learn more about the support MAV offers victims' families, and having heard about a mother called Miranda, whose 19-year-old son was shot and killed, he pays her a visit.
I'm James, I was at the meeting the other day, yeah.
That's all right. This is Justin in school. This is his friend, he's been shot. This is Justin's girlfriend, he's been shot and killed as well.
And that's just that one class, three shootings.
That's right.
It's incredible.
My life's never been quite the same since Justin's died. I found it very hard to cope, but I've gained strength being part of MAV.
So what kind of thing did MAV do for you then? Were they able to support you, through that time? Or?
When Justin died, Patsy Mackay, she was very supportive. We went to the undertakers because I had to view my son, so I needed support at that time, and she went with me throughout. Gosh knows what he might be now.
How old is he now?
I think it's about 13. I can see you getting distressed.
I'm just thinking of my own son. Yeah, I got 2 boys.
Oh, 2 sons?
2 boys.
He's my only son. I used to cut his hair when he was 9. I used to give him all his own styles. He didn't really like it, but he used to let me do it.
I don't know, I could cope.
You don't at first, but time does heal.
Thank you. Thank you for telling me about it.
Would you like a cup of tea or something?
Just a drink of water.
Okay.
Nice.
Speaking to Miranda kind of brought it home how enormously just one single death can affect someone or a family or a whole community. I don't know if it's my place to put a price on a human life or to stand in judgment and say, well, this cause deserves more than that cause. And it's quite a difficult situation to be in now. I haven't seen that, especially having my own sons and knowing how I think it would feel to lose one of them.
Former troubled teen James Benamor is halfway through his undercover mission to find people he can help.
Peel some potatoes. That's an entry-level job, yeah?
He's back at Copperdale, a hostel for homeless young men.
So how long have you been here for?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years, yeah.
About that, yeah.
James has come to meet some of the lads living with Terry and Anne.
How come you ended up sort of coming here?
I couldn't keep myself out of trouble with the police and stuff like that. I mean, if these wouldn't have let me live here at the time, yeah, when I desperately needed somewhere to go, then I would have gone to jail straight away, you know what I mean?
And if you think you've got a temper now, you should have been here the first few weeks you was here, eh? So when we still had a door left. When we do the room checks, we often find knives. And they're not just little teeny knives, they're almost machetes, aren't they? They say they're for the protection, which I believe is true, really.
No, it is true. They're going to do the same to me, so I'll just do it back to them before they can do it to me. That's how I see it. It's the same with guns and all that.
Even I would know where to get a gun from, you know.
So if you needed a gun right now?
Oh, definitely, I would be able to find one, yes. But I don't want to find one, I wouldn't ever do it. But I do know that there are
even in your
around.
position, you're aware of that. It's that sort of widespread.
Yeah.
But even sometimes a weapon can't do really much for you. Yeah, you can get enough time to stab one person in the leg or something, and then you got about 20 others, and then because you stabbed him, he's going to think, well, what's he doing? Bang, and stab me back, you know what I mean?
Boys at Copperdale were fairly scary at first. Those boys are probably the most extreme case of kind of vulnerability mixed with dangerousness that we've witnessed the whole time that we've been here.
Alright, will you do me a favour?
What, love?
I can't nerve it to just press this straight on.
Yeah, come on.
It's painful, I swear down.
Well, it's quite a nasty thing.
I can't bring myself to do these things too
What about
much.
that bit there? Because that's going off a bit, isn't it? This plant here is all spiky and prickly. But if you look after it, this is what it does. You see? And you would think, well, that's horrible. You know, that's going to hurt me, that plant. At this stage, you've got to really understand it and put the right things into it. But I think that's like our lads. A lot of them, you know, they're all prickly and then they do something lovely like that.
It's really nice.
For the past 29 years, Anne and Terry have taken in over 870 lads, referred to them by local authority agencies. They have space for 10 boys at a time and are always full up.
I don't know anyone in my life that would open up their home to boys that are maybe, you know, have had problems in the past.
We just felt that there was a need for it and we did it. I mean, you can't live on your own in this big house, can you?
Is this one going to the table? Or?
Yes, that one.
Anne and Terry are both retired and work with the boys for free. The council give them some money for the boys' living costs, but they don't receive a wage, and money is always tight.
We're retired now, us two.
Yeah. So you're just living off your pension and
yes,
kind of doing
yeah,
this?
and carry on doing it. And why not? Because it's a joy. We got on very well, thank God, with the neighbours. And if they want any help, if they get locked out, the lads here can very good at getting windows, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Putting the skills to very good use, you see.
There are police officers that wouldn't come near these kids, you know. And she's just a little old lady. She's just got so much belief, so much enthusiasm for it. It's incredible. Just realised I'm washing whites and darks together. Completely forgot about that. Sod it. When I started this, I really didn't understand about volunteering. I didn't understand why people would do it. I didn't understand that some people just did it, just to be good and to feel that excitement of having done something. My attitude's completely changed. Now, I see volunteering as something that really everyone should do.
After hearing about Miranda losing her son, James has decided to find out more about Mothers Against Violence.
What I really want to know from them is what is it that they can do that's tangible? What is it that they can do that can actually change the attitudes in this community?
James has come to meet Angela, who dedicates much of her spare time to the cause.
Hi Angela, pleased to see you again. How often are kids being shot or stabbed at the moment?
I don't think there's one calendar month when there hasn't been a child killed in our community.
When you go to the park, there's still kids smoking dope, and you sort of think, well, they're not going to the youth clubs, and they're the ones that are likely to get into trouble, you know? So how can you actually get to those kids?
You have to be able to be more creative in the way you're going to actually engage. You know, if Mohammed won't come to the mountain, take the mountain to Mohammed, that kind of thing, yeah? So having our outreach mobile van is a way of engaging on their level.
Believing that James wants to get involved with outreach work, Angela takes him to meet Patsy Mackay, one of the founders of MAV, to show him their latest idea.
Hi.
Okay.
Should we go and see the van then?
Yeah, we can go see the vans, Jamie, but there's going to be no cameras where we're going now, okay? Because it's got to be confidential.
MAV want this van to reach the most at-risk young people, so it's vital its exterior remains unidentifiable.
Wow. That's incredible.
As the group don't have any regular income, the outreach van is not yet on the road.
Like a room on wheels, really, yeah. It looks pretty high-tech in here.
We've got a flat screen. We've
Wow.
got two, both ends. We've got the important making drinks.
Coffee-making facilities.
A proper kettle.
With a proper sink as well. This is nicer than my flat, actually.
The outreach van has all the mod cons, but it's much more than just a place to get a cup of tea. It may just be a mum in a van, but the women hope that just by listening, they might stop someone turning to violence.
The whole idea is that it's a very comfortable, confidential space.
Just a place to meet people, or
Just to relax and have the conversations that we need to be having with young people. The whole idea about this project is that it's used as an outreach vehicle in the night, used by workers who have the skills and experience to reach young people on the street, and it's just got to be as comfortable as possible.
And would it be run by volunteers as well?
Yeah.
So how much is it going to cost you to keep this thing running then?
Insurance has been quoted around 2,500, petrol. The whole idea is people put their own petrol in, but I think if you probably budget for 5,000 a year, then you can relax and know that you can take the van out with petrol in the tank and that kind of thing.
I think what's great about Mothers Against Violence is that they're not just sitting back and saying, oh well, these are the problems, this is what someone should do about it. They're actually getting in there, getting their hands dirty, and they've decided for themselves that they are going to force a solution for this problem. And the problem is such a massive one.
Still undecided on how to use his money, James has come back for one last shift at the settlement.
Hi James, are you okay?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Nice to see you back again. Today's the lunch club, so we'll get you involved in doing that today.
Okay, so lunch club is cooking?
Yeah. What we do is we get a young person from one of the projects and they help a chef prepare a meal, and then we invite members of the public to come in and eat with us.
It's his last chance to find out what difference it's making to the lives of the teenagers.
What do you reckon, Mark? What would you have done if the settlement wasn't here?
Don't know, probably ended up getting arrested.
Yeah.
But this place just helped, innit? Instead of being on the street or getting arrested or anything, come here and do my GCSEs and stuff like that. Still get somewhere.
Do you get to see the kids who have been turned around? Do they come back? And
Well, I mean, here at the lunch club today we've got a couple of kids that used to be on projects a couple of years ago, and they've come back to see us.
So do you reckon this place sort of helped you out? When you were a kid?
I would have been either in jail or dead by now.
You reckon?
Yeah. I was a bad lad. I was in trouble with the police, car theft, all that, burglary, everything. Just nothing going for me. Got out of it when I started coming in because I thought, right, I can do something with my life.
Is there anything that you'd like to be able to do with the kids that you can't because of funding or
funding's always an issue.
Yeah. Because it looks like the place
We
is.
do so much for them. We want to be out with them, out of this building, but we just have our hands tied with the funding all the time.
Meeting some of the past students who've benefited from this really put it into context exactly how great the work is that they're doing. I suppose my big question is there anything that can be done that will improve the way this place runs that I can achieve here, Before I came here, I expected this experience to be a challenge on a cerebral level, like a game of chess really, about moving stuff around, winning the game. I wasn't really prepared for the emotional side of it, so I didn't expect to get emotionally involved in what I saw, and that's been surprising. But it's made the whole experience much more fulfilling. Been really touched by Anne and Terry, but I haven't really got a clear idea of what I can do for them, so I've got to find out before the end of the project. Hi Anne. Not bad. I've just had a couple of hours spare, so I thought I'd come round and give you a hand with anything I do, Anne. So what can I do, Anne?
Well, it's nice outside, so why not go outside and clean the windows?
Clean the windows, yeah,
fine. That would be a really good job, well done.
Fine.
But I'll show you how many windows.
How many windows?
Quite a lot.
Does this place take quite a lot of upkeep then? Do you do stuff yourself on it? I mean, just
never stop. Never ever stop.
Replace all this now.
Yeah, we do nearly all the work ourselves, don't we?
Would you like to do more with it?
Well, yes, we always think of other things we want to do. We want to put an awning over here, on this side, so the boys can come right out, and if it's raining, they can still be out in some fresh air. And then we want to make this into more of a cyber place in here. I always wanted a roof garden up there, but we thought that wasn't very practical. Marvellous meeting you.
I'll see you again soon.
I hope so, yes, anytime.
They need doing it again, mate.
They'll be doing it again soon. That place is lovely. It's just like being at your granny's house or something. I've got some good ideas, but I've still got to go back and think about them. I'm really glad I got to come here. I think it's made everything a lot clearer in my head.
Tomorrow, James will reveal his true identity and share some of his fortune. But making the decision is proving to be harder than he'd thought.
This money's being spent differently from how I first imagined. Some of it's just going on gut feel, really, you know, of who's moved me, who's touched me. I didn't think it was going to come down to that. I thought I'd be able to keep it on a business level. But there's some people that we've met that have just blown my expectations out of the water.
Today, James Benamor is finally going to reveal who he really is and who he wants to help.
I'm confident I've got this right. It just feels very, very right.
James was a troubled teen himself and is hoping his gifts will have a lasting effect on the kids he's met.
This gift's going to a group of people who work incredibly hard to give kids a second chance and do a fantastic job at doing that. Hi Bev, hi Maria.
James.
I'm just here to
Hi,
say
James.
goodbye. Should we just go through to the staff room? Is that okay?
Certainly, yeah.
It's just been a really fantastic experience. I wish I had teachers when I was at school who put in as much love and care and attention as you guys do, and I think you're worth your weight in gold. And I do have a confession to make as well. For the last 10 years, I've been running a very successful finance company, and it's so successful it has made me a multi-millionaire. I've got a cheque here for £36,000.
Oh, brilliant!
I'd like to pay for an incentive budget to be used by all the classes to provide external outings, special treats, facilities for the kids that they might not get otherwise.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I can't believe it.
Cheers.
So what's your real name? Are we allowed to
My
know?
real name's James, yeah. Everything else is true.
I can't wait to see Aiden's face.
Hello.
Right, guys. What's up, guys?
Can we quiet? Well, we've got something to tell you about James. He's actually a multi-millionaire from Bournemouth.
When I was a teenager, I got into loads of trouble, I had loads of problems, but luckily I had people around me who believed in me. I've given these guys a cheque for £36,000. I'm giving you guys an open invitation. Any one of you who finishes and passes at least one GCSE is welcome to spend a month at my company learning everything about what we do. You'll get paid a proper salary for that month.
You don't need GCSEs to get them in. You need one.
So how much you got in the bank now?
The Sunday Times put me in the rich list as having £77 million.
Oh my! If I get one GCSE, then I get to go around and stay with him for a month. But then he might take me on in it, or just give me a job. What car are you?
I like this, Elise. It was just fantastic being able to tell them that I was a millionaire and giving them some belief in themselves that they could do that too. And that's what this place is all about, and I just want to stay a part of that. This one is the one I'm most nervous about. These people are wonderful, wonderful people, and I don't think they've got a clue who I am. But I'm a little bit nervous that they're not going to accept the gift, so it's going to be touch and go. Hi, Anne.
Oh, hello, how do you do?
How are you?
It's nice to see you again.
I'm just leaving now, and I just wanted to pop by and say goodbye to both of you and thank you. There was one other thing that I wanted to tell you. I haven't been completely honest. For the last 10 years, I've actually been running my own finance company, which has been very successful. So successful, actually, that it's made me a millionaire. I've got a cheque here for £50,000.
I can't believe it.
Oh, dear. It's made out to Copperdale Trust. I'd hope that it will be able to help you to do the work that you wanted to do on the house, the roof garden that you were talking about.
I think I'm dreaming. Because this is the sort of stuff that you dream about, isn't it? You know, you think, oh, if only. I just can't wait to tell the boys. Look, this is what James has given to us. No, did you ever dream that would happen?
No. Who gave us that? You?
Volunteer.
Yo, James, you are a good man, yo. Serious, man, that is good, he's that on a level, man. 50 bags, yo, what? Oh my gosh, mate. That is some big dough, that, yo, sir.
I just wanted to give it to Terry and Anne, basically, to thank them for the work that they've done with you guys.
So how come you can just afford to give 50 grand to it?
I'm a millionaire.
No way. You
Thank you very much.
I very much hope we can stay in touch with James because he was such a genuine sort of person and we had no idea that there was anything other than what he said he was. I thought he was a perfect volunteer, actually.
Thought very, very hard about this one. It's a big gift and I hope I get it right, but pretty sure I have. Hi Angela.
Hi, how are you? I'm alright, thank you.
So it's my last day today of volunteering and I just wanted to pop by and say goodbye and say thanks for everything. What I haven't told you is that for the last 10 years I've actually been running my own very successful finance company. And I'm actually a millionaire.
No, you're not. Oh, you're having a laugh now.
I've been so impressed with what I've seen here and how huge the issues that you're dealing with are and how much you've done on so little funding that I've got a cheque here for £50,000.
Oh no, you have not!
And I just hope that you can accept it and that you can put it towards just continuing the work that you're doing, the outreach work and the support work that you're doing.
It's the most we've ever received, and I can assure you, you've helped so many people already. You're going to see the rewards of what you've just given us. He could have chose to ignore what goes on in our community and got on with his own life, but obviously something within him was stirred, but to give us a cheque for that, I mean, gosh, we've never had that amount of money.
I'm absolutely exhausted, but I'm completely elated. It's just been so huge. I never thought that it would be such an experience. I've learnt that when kids aren't doing so well and adults aren't doing so well, it's because they haven't got people around them that believe in them, and the people that we've met do believe in those youngsters. It's the people that believe in me, my friends, my family, and the people that I work with that have made me successful. I'm also taking away a respect for volunteers and for people who take action themselves to make their communities a better place. I've always wanted to be the best at whatever I do, but this experience has softened that a little bit. I think I still want to be the best, but I realise that you can be the best at small things, and you can be the best at making a difference in one person's life. Hello. And that's really special. I'm home. Hello. Yeah. Oh, I missed you. Hey. Daddy.
6 weeks later, and James's money is making a massive difference.
How are you, Terry?
Oh, great.
Anne and Terry are halfway through creating their dream roof garden.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful, isn't it?
It is
really
going to be
beautiful.
absolutely beautiful.
And they have the money they need to invest in the boys' futures.
It's always upset me that I couldn't help them with the driving lessons or the training, but now I can do it. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
James's gift to Mothers Against Violence means they're now able to take their message to an even wider audience.
And if ever you need to speak in a confidential setting, this is the number I want you to call.
They hope if they catch young people at the right age, they'll be able to prevent future bloodshed.
The issues that Mav are dealing with now are really close to my heart, and it's great to see something happening with the money that I've spent. But if they could do that in every school that's affected, they could completely change a generation.
I think in James, right, I have found a friend. I'm very proud to have met him. Take care.
Yeah, keep in touch, yeah.
Go, go, go! Right, boys!
With James's incentives, the kids at the settlement are already responding well and have 2 new reasons to work hard.
Shit, shit, shit! Oh!
Do you think it's going to make them easier to handle in the lessons overall?
I think so. Yeah. We want to go on things like this.
So you guys going to come down and do the work experience in the Richmond group?
Yeah, I want to.
You going to come?
Yeah.
I've got my national insurance number now as well.
The potential really is there, and seeing them out of the settlement and having fun, helping each other, it's made me really positive about the idea of being involved with them in the future. Since going back to work, I've realised how much I got from the experience, and so much so that I've actually implemented a voluntary scheme at work so that employees and me can carry on volunteering and putting something back into the local community.
More 4 right now for a famous doc that showed how a man was wrongly convicted of murder in Dallas County by a corrupt system, The Thin Blue Line. But here on Channel 4, Darnell is lovesick under the duvet in Big Brother next.